Summer solstice and marriage. The first or only full moon in June is called the honeymoon. Tradition holds that this is the best time to harvest honey from the hives to make mead. Fermented honey is the ancient drink of the gods, known as mead and customarily drunk at wedding parties. This time of year, between the planting and harvesting of crops, was the traditional month for weddings known as handfastings in the pagan traditions. June remains a favourite month for marriage today. In some traditions, newlywed couples are fed drinks and beverages that feature honey for the first month of their married life to encourage love and fertility. On a practical level, there was less work to do because crops would be planted and waiting for harvest. The union of the solar power and Mother Nature is the promise of abundance, and the fruit of that union is the harvest of birth of your dreams. In a similar fashion, the potency of this time joined couples in marriage. The Romans celebrated summer solstice as a sacred to Juno, the patroness of marriage, and her month, June, Juno means June, remains today the most popular time for weddings. In old Europe, the time between planting and harvesting of crops allowed time for weddings. The Druids celebrated the day as the wedding of heaven and earth, and that may also be one of the beginnings in present-day belief of lucky wedding in June. The roots of the modern-day honeymoon survive in current customs. A little history on handfasting. What is a handfasting, you may ask? Until the time leading up to and during the Middle Ages, weddings were considered affairs that included both family and community. The only thing needed in those times to create a marriage was for both partners to state their consent to take one another as spouses. The tradition of handfasting started in Scotland and was considered more of a contract than a romantic endeavour. Witnesses were not always necessary, nor actually was the presence of the bride. The role of the clergy at medieval wedding was simply to bless the couple. Until the Council of Trent in the 15th century, it was not official that a third party, such as a priest or minister, officiate the vows of marriage. Until that time, it was left up to the individuals involved to perform the ceremony. This was done many times in homes of the bride. In the later medieval period, the wedding ceremony moved from the house of the bride to the church. It began with a procession to the church from the bride's house. Vows were exchanged outside the church, and everyone would then move inside for High Mass. After Mass, the procession went back to the bride's house for feasting, and musicians accompanied the procession. A pagan handfasting is a sacred union where a couple's hands are bound together with cords or ribbons, symbolising their connection and commitment. Ceremonies are highly customisable and fall into different categories based on the duration of the marriage, the specific pagan path, and the regional traditions. Note, in the UK, pagan handfastings are primarily spiritual. If you are seeking a legally binding marriage, you will need to arrange for a registrar to be present or use a licensed venue, such as the Goddess Temple in Glastonbury or one of the other licensed venues that can be found all around the country. Types or duration. A year and a day. The traditional period. Couples commit to each other for 1 year and 1 day. At the end of this period, they evaluate their relationship and decide to either part ways or make a permanent commitment. For as long as love lasts. A modernised alternative to the year and a day vow, acknowledging that relationship requires active love and effort. If one person falls out of love with the other, then the relationship can be dissolved with immediate effect after a frank discussion without rancor on either side. Alternatively, it might be that for as long as love lasts takes you into your whole lifetime, and if you believe in reincarnation, into lifetimes beyond that. For a lifetime, or till death do us part. A permanent binding commitment ceremony. This often follows a successful trial handfasting and is treated as a major community celebration. The final one is a bit controversial because it's forever. A permanent soul binding from one lifetime to the next. This is not generally advocated by the celebrant because of the strength of this binding, especially if things go wrong and the couple believes in reincarnation and the fact that they will come back time after time into a relationship that is a bit toxic. Types of pagan tradition. So Wiccan, often held outdoors, these ceremonies align with the cycles of the moon and nature. They typically involve casting a sacred circle and invoking the 4 elements: earth, air, fire and water. And from that, the hand fasting is done outside. Druidry, a Celtic-inspired practice focusing on nature, poetry and storytelling. These are often held outside in woodlands, groves, and incorporate earth and solar cycles. Again, a hand fasting will be held outside. So Norse or Asatru, this focuses on Germanic spirits and gods, historically including oaths sworn on an oath stone and an exchange of weapons or rings. The Mjolnir or Thor's hammer is also used as part of these oaths. So Norse and Asatru hand fastings can be quite different from the Wiccan and Druid ceremonies. They could be inside, they could be outside. It will be dependent on the couple and the celebrant. So, customizing your cords. The binding process is the core of the ritual. Couples choose specific cord colours based on their symbolic meanings. So red is passion, strength and courage. Green is growth, harmony and prosperity. Blue would be trust, patience and loyalty. White, purity, peace and new beginnings. And gold or yellow is wisdom, energy and longevity. You could all have all 5, or you could just have 1 or 2, depending on your choice. The celebrant can choose different ways to bind the cord. Long enough so the couple has to be together for an agreed amount of time, be that overnight or even up to a week, depending on what the couple have agreed. Tied so the couple hold the cord, and as it is pulled tight, will slide off their wrists and into a knot, which can then be kept as a reminder of their ceremony. Just laid lightly, tied so the cord can be removed after the ceremony, or tied at each of the couple's wrists so that the cord can be snipped and remain on each of the couple until they decide to either remove their half or the cord wears away, making sure that you use natural materials for this. So cotton is probably best. Cotton, light cotton cord or string is best. Otherwise it would not wear away. Symbolic rites incorporated. Handfastings frequently include secondary rituals to deepen the spiritual meaning of the ceremony. The oath stone. Couples speak their vows while holding or touching a sacred stone to ground their intentions. Jumping the besom or sword. The couple leaps together over a besom, which is the broom, or sword, or both, to cross the threshold into their new life and sweep or cut away old energies. The carrick ceremony. Sharing a drink, often mead or wine, from a traditional two-handled cup to symbolise trust and unity. Or buying a new cup or glass that the couple drink from. Then it is placed in a bag and broken into pieces, as this is something they will both share that no one else will, and as a reminder of the vows, oaths taken, and the love between them. So, burning bowl. When you stand on the threshold of making a public commitment to your partner, there may be some aspects of your past which you prefer not to take forward with you into your new relationship. The burning bowl is a symbolic way of letting go and leaving behind whatever it may be you no longer wish to retain. Fear of the unknown or the known, guilt over things done or not done, people or places, thoughts or actions. You can do this by writing down on a piece of paper anything you wish to leave behind you from that moment on. At a certain point in the ceremony, the celebrant will put the paper in the bowl and set fire to it. Making sure the ashes are out, the ashes are then dispersed to the four winds, because we certainly don't want to have fires if you're outside. So, Norse hand fasting. The Gothi or priestess will say, or can say, "We stand before you, Var, Odin, Thor, and Freya, this day, to join these two people in marriage and ask you be witnesses of this joining. I call to the gods, Odin to bring wisdom, Thor to bless the home and grant the couple healthy and strong children, Freya to bring love, Var to bear witness of the contract made here today. Bride and groom, do you both choose to be joined together for as long as love lasts, recognizing that love may last for as long as one night, to all lives you may live together, whilst ever the love between you holds strong? I ask the bride, do you come here of your own free will to be joined to the groom? And do you, groom, come of your own free will to be joined to the bride? Then the couple will respond. The Gothi will then say, groom, bring the hammer to hallow the bride. On her knees let Mjolnir lie, and we ask that Thor bless her. May Freya be called to bless the marriage with love, that the hand of Vor may bless you both, and the contract be bound. Cord is then tied around their wrists. Now eat. Share this cake and mead with the gods to give gratitude for their coming to witness this joining. And you can finish that with Infrith, which means in friendship.